Movies on the Radio. I'm Brandon Johnson here with, what's your name again? James Fite. Yeah, all right. Anyway, this is our pre-recorded interview. Oh, wait, I don't guess we should tell them it's pre-recorded. Anyway, we're talking with horror crime author, comic book writer, and publisher, and he runs his own channel, Hart Fisher. Hart, thanks for letting us idiots interview you.
Yeah, and remember that horror channel is American Horrors. It's free to watch. It's 24 hours a day,
right.
7 days a week, and you can find it at filmon.com.
Filmon.com, and get on there. It's an American Horrors channel, right?
That's right. We're in the horror section. Film On has got like 500 channels. It's one of the dirty little secrets of online television. They are one of the largest congregators of cable television in the world. And they're being hushed up by the American media. They're not writing about it. It's owned by crazy maniac Alki David, who's the heir to the Coca-Cola bottling empire over there in Europe.
Nice.
And he's a wild man. He does a thing called Battle Cam. And so Film On is friggin' free. So forget about fucking Hulu. Oh, sorry, guys. Can I curse?
No, but I'll catch that on the edit, so.
All right, so then I'll watch my mouth.
Okay, cool.
So Alki's a wild man. He owns Film On. It's got over 500 channels. American Horrors is the best horror channel out there. When I started American Horrors, the plan was I wanted the channel I wish existed when I was a kid growing up. And this is it, baby. It's got all the hard-to-find horror. Forget about Michael Myers. Forget about, the usual BS with Jason. I mean, I love those movies, but you can see them anywhere.
Right.
I'm playing the rare, hard-to-find stuff, and we're free.
Cool. So you playing a lot of foreign stuff also, maybe?
Oh, yeah. We play a ton of stuff. We play a lot of Fulci and Argento. We try to find the stuff that nobody else plays on the air.
Cool.
That's pretty awesome.
You know what I mean? Like something that we're playing right now is a really great serial killer film called Corrupt with Harvey Keitel and Johnny Lydon from the Sex Pistols. Really kick-ass movie.
Oh, wow.
It's my dream job. Heart attack is what I do to blow off steam, because I'm really angry about a lot of the laws that are in our country that, keep the little guy down and enable corporations to hurt us and kill us. And so I was originally going to do a news channel, like a news thing for American Horrors. It was going to be called Real World Horrors, what you should really be afraid of. But as my journalists and my guys started getting the stories together, this shit was fucking scarier than any horror movie. It was just like it overwhelmed the channel. And I feel like American Horrors is where you go to have fun and check out from all the bullshit that's stressing you, because all the stuff in between our movies, we got original programming, we got true crime shows. I'm out there interviewing people. We got interviews with the Soska sisters, Xavier Cassavetes, the director of Kiss of the Damned. Yeah. We go out and we go to film festivals, and we got original horror shorts, and I'm always looking for new stuff. On Sundays, we got uncut Danzig videos for Satanic Sunday. So I'm really trying to mix it up, and that's my main thing. And Heart Attack is what I do to blow off steam and keep from going crazy.
And Heart Attack is, that's your podcast, right? Where can people, if they want to listen to your podcast, where can they go for that?
Heart Attack is a very it's much more about politics and how you're getting screwed by the corporations and the government. Right. And we deal with facts. It's not a conspiracy show. It's a hardcore. These are the facts, guys. We don't talk about the HARP program or reptilians or bullshit like that. We talk about the facts of what's really going on, and I try to break it down in a way that the regular guy can figure out what's happening. And you can find it at jackaloperadio.com. You can find it at 1201beyond.com. We're on soundcloud.com. And that's Heart Attack, and it's H-A-R-T, Heart Attack.
Right. Okay, cool. Kind of wanted to get into something. What got you interested? I know you've written some horror, so comic book stuff, and you've made Garbage Man, the horror film, and then you've got the horror show. When did you really get into horror movies? Where did this all start?
I've been in horror since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Have you guys seen The Right with Anthony Hopkins?
Yes. I saw it when it came out, but that's the last time I saw it.
if you've seen The Rite and you watch the very beginning of the film and the priest is working at the funeral home,
Yeah.
that's where I used to wait for the bus to go to school.
Oh, nice.
That's half a block down from my house where I grew up on the south side of Chicago. And in the opening credits, they show like an old grindhouse movie theater front. And that's where I used to go on Fridays and Saturdays. It was 2 movies for $1.50, and they didn't care how old you were. So me and my buddies, that was where we went. And I grew up around a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of violence. It's the south side of Chicago,
Yeah.
and a lot of gangs. And so movies were like a respite from all that. Movies were a checkout. So were comic books. I loved comic books. And so that kind of let me escape from the craziness and the madness that was going on all around me.
Yeah. Well, that's I mean, that's what movies are a lot for. You know, they're escape. You know, it's a good way just to kind of go get away from things. You know, there's several theories about why all these franchise movies and superhero movies are doing so well. And there's like, oh, it's just the franchise. I just think that the world's so crazy right now that people really like to get lost in the Marvel universe. You know,
you got to get your brain checked out. You
Yeah.
know, in the 80s, they didn't have the special effects that could do a superhero movie.
Yeah.
I like them. I think they're fun. I like the Thor movie. I thought it was a blast. I had thought the Avengers movie was a blast. I think what's his name is a good Tony Stark. The dude that's playing the Hulk in the Avengers is fantastic.
Yeah, I thought you did great
I
too.
dig it. And I think this is a very difficult time that we're going through right now in America and around the world. There's a lot of crazy effed up stuff happening, and
Yeah.
people's homes getting burnt up, and you never know if you're going to have your job in a year. And so it's a very frightening world we live in, and you need a break from it. You got to check your brain out. And if you're living an extreme life, you're going to need extreme entertainment to pull you out of it.
Yeah.
When my life got really dark and bleak and people all around me were getting murdered and raped, horror saved my life. And that's when I went really extreme with it, because I needed something that could pull me out of my own head. My head was a raging river, and I needed something that could really grip me
Yeah.
and pull me out. So really extreme comedy that's really like hilarious and really kick-ass horror saved my life, man. Really did. Really saved my sanity.
You know, it's funny. You don't hear many people saying horror saved my life, but it sounds like it really happened to you there.
It did. It gave me an outlet, too, by writing horror and by writing crime stories. It gave me an outlet to process some of the things I was dealing with.
Yeah.
You know, it gave me a way, like doing poems for the dead. I'm a spoken word poet. You guys might not have known that. I've done spoken word
You
around
got
the
the voice
world.
for it.
Yeah, and I'm crazy. When you see me perform, it's like watching a madman getting ready to come into the audience and kill you with an axe. And I'm not joking. It's really intense, and I don't mess around. And if somebody's popping off in the back, I'm like, you got to shut your goddamn mouth back there, you son of a bitch. You know what I mean? I really am aggressive, and plus I'm 6'2", 230 pounds. I'm a bit of a wild man, and I've been a martial arts nut my whole life. So I bring it, man. I bring it.
Yeah. I can tell. I mean, like I said, it gets you going on stuff. You're rather passionate.
Very passionate, because life is short, guys, and I've had a lot of my loved ones killed and wiped off this planet.
Yeah.
And I've seen things happen to people, so I want to make it count, and I'm trying to live enough life for two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've got dead ones with me, and they can't live, but I can. So I'm here to have the most fun I can, the best time I can, the most excitement I can, and it's been one hell of a life.
Well, sounds like you're having a good time.
I am, man. American Horrors is a dream job. I love it, and I never knew how much I'd like doing the radio show with Josh, but I really do. So I got to thank Josh and Todd at Jackalope for giving me that opportunity, because I've come to really like it, and I've been able to make a real difference for people with the radio show. I've helped a couple single moms from predatory banks and corporations. I helped a single mom with her house. I helped Dr. Dahmer's and 7 Generation Games hit their Kickstarter goal and raise money to do a computer game for kids on reservations that's going to teach them math. I've really tried to do something to make a difference.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I listen to probably you every other day on y'all's podcast, and whether it's in Heart Attack, I've listened to you on Geek Juice Radio, and you really do sound like you're having a lot of fun on each one of those.
It's a blast. I like, after this, I'm going to go hook up with a dude who works at an old video store, Eddie Brandt's, and they've got just so many old VHS tapes and old horror shows, and that's part of my job is I get to go find cool horror movies I've never seen or
Yeah.
never heard of, and all these different experts. I've gotten to meet filmmakers like Chris J. Miller, who's turned me on to so many cool horror films like Monster Hunter, and he's really helped me figure out what to air on the channel. If you've seen American Horrors like the Satanic Sunday promos, Sunday, that's done by Chris J. Miller, and he's a filmmaker. He put me in his new movie, Forbidden Dimensions, and I got to be a bad guy, and I beat up the hero.
Cool. So you got have you popped up in a bunch of movies? I mean, I know you made Garbage Man, but what all movie stuff have you done?
Well, I wrote and directed and edited The Garbage Man, which was a real nightmare. That was the film my girlfriend was murdered in the middle of making.
God.
And I had 10 years of murder trials after that, 3 different trials, and that was during the time of all the Dahmer shit. So while the public is calling me a piece of shit for doing serial killer comics, I'm waging my personal war to keep a killer in jail. And this is a guy who'd done multiple robberies. He raped and murdered her. He also had stabbed a guard in the face. So I spent a lot of time working hard to keep this guy in jail. And I've worked with lots of other victims groups and victim survivors groups. My poetry, Poems for the Dead, Still Dead, which you could find at the AmericanHorrors.com store. Wow. It all deals with loss and rage and murder. And it's some pretty intense stuff. And that really helped me be where I am now. I got to free myself through my art.
Cool. Well, that's your art's supposed to set you free.
Mm-hmm. And it has. And that's why I get really angry when kids are going to jail for their Facebook raps, or they're going to jail for a Facebook post, or some kid is handcuffed to a bar because he drew a superhero that's shooting flames out of his hands. We're really lost in this country. We got some real issues going down right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it's, I don't know, people get on to me. It's like, you let your kids play Halo or something like that. And I'm like, when I was a kid, I played cowboys and Indians, you know, cops and robbers, and my imagination is far more graphic than that video game.
Hell yeah.
And they just give me this funny look. I'm like, well, sorry.
You could take your retard booty and just take it right on out of here, dammit. They don't understand you. They just don't get it. And we're being brainwashed steadily by the mass media. All this stuff, like all this crap about you got to have a transgender bathroom. For what? For like 0.1% of the population is like that?
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And they're just throwing it out so we're distracted. And I don't want to go too crazy political on you guys. So that's where the horror works for me. So when I'm getting all riled up after reading my Time magazine or my Newsweek or what have you, I need to check out. I need something to check my brain out, and that's where I'll go get Lords of Salem. And I don't care what the reviewers said. I thought Lords of Salem kicked serious witchy ass. Rob Zombie, thank you. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, that's what I got to catch. I keep hearing you talk positive about it. I've heard Josh on your show talk negative. I'm like,
when you listen to Josh's criticism of it, he's talking about stuff that, I'm like, what has this got to do with the movie?
Yeah.
And I'm going, dude, don't you see yourself? I mean, Josh, we're one of those guys, all those self-involved jockeys that are on the radio in that movie. That's us, man. Didn't you see yourself there? Because I saw my, self. Oh, what are you in love with the sound of your own voice, Hart? Yeah. I am. That's why I'm on the radio, you dummy.
Right. Yeah, like with Rob Zombie, I'm one of the few people I think that like his remake of Halloween.
I've never seen it.
I don't like it. I mean, there's parts I like. I like the first remake. I didn't like the sequel much, but they all have flashes of brilliance. I mean, real brilliance. And what I want to see from Rob Zombie is it's time for him to make movies he didn't write. You're not a professional director until you direct somebody else's work. That's when you're a top-notch pro. Right now, he's Mr. I'm just doing my vision, which is fine. But if you really want to grow, and I think he's at that stage, he really needs this. He needs to just start directing other people's work, and it's going to change his writing. It's going to change him quite a bit, because I think there's a lot left in Zombie, and he's got to quit thinking about how the internet reacts.
Yeah.
He's really got to ignore all the dickheads on the web, because when I was publishing comics in the 90s, I didn't care what Johnny Jr. in Iowa thought of my book. He either bought it or he didn't. I didn't have to hear the feedback from all these dweeby.
We're all connected now.
Yeah, all these people, and I didn't care. I mean, sure, you could get off your ass and write me a letter, and I might read it, sure. But now all of a sudden, I'm supposed to care from some stranger on Facebook. I'm supposed to give a damn. I don't care. I don't care if you unfriend me. Unfriend me. Oh, my whole life has changed.
Well, that's like whenever they got Ben Affleck on Leno or Letterman, I don't remember which one it was, and he said they took him. Whenever they started doing it, they said, "All right, well, you're going to do the part, whatever." They're like, "Well, just don't look at the internet." What do you mean don't look at the internet? So just don't look at the internet, and you'll be because I mean you saw at the internet when they announced Ben Affleck was Batman. I mean. There was something really awful in Somalia or something that happened the same day, but all that was everywhere was Ben Affleck's Batman.
I know, and come on, he's way better than Michael Keaton, who's got no jaw. Come on.
Come on.
I thought he was good as Daredevil.
I actually agree with that. I didn't dislike Daredevil. I thought he was good. He had the build for it. He looked like the character, like a boxer. Right.
I thought he did a really good job. I would have loved to see him back in another Daredevil movie, done more Miller style.
Yeah.
I'd love to have seen a Daredevil Miller style because I didn't really much care for the movie. But if thinking about Frank Miller doing it, yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have been good. It would have been real good. And same with like the Elektra film, because I grew up reading that kind of comic book. The whole Frank Miller phase on Daredevil blew my mind. When he came back to Daredevil, it blew my mind again. He was very influential on my work as a comic book writer and publisher.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Frank Miller is actually. I'm not real big on James is more on comics than I am, but a lot of my graphic novels that I do have, which my collection gets bigger about once a year, but the Batman stuff that Frank Miller did is just wow, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about. We wanted to get your opinion. What do you think about the way? How Marvel's done with the Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, and all that stuff, and how DC is trying to jump on the bandwagon, but...
Oh, they're screwing the pooch.
That's what we think.
Yep.
They're dumb. They're lost. They're so lost. It's like, what idiot took over DC? Because do you guys not know anything about comic reading and comic fans? A comic fan is a collector. He wants to have a complete set. And what did you guys do? You had the fans that were still with your characters. They bought the issues. They stuck with you for years. And you want to try to get a quickie bump online. So you reset every series to number 1. You dump all that continuity. You turn Lobo into a prancing fairy who was the manliest, most badass, most uncouth, unclean. You know what I mean? He was the DC Wolverine, and all of a sudden now he's Hugh Jackman. Give me a break, man. Come on. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I think Hugh Jackman's been fun as Wolverine. He's been a lot of fun, but that's not a psychotic runt that I think of for Wolverine, which he's been described as. The psychotic runt, like the little bull that like a badger, the Wolverine. That's why he's the Wolverine. He's not a big, tall, semi-gay, beautiful-haired guy with perfect chin. Give me a break. But the movies were fun. They were fun, and DC's just blowing it, man. That Green Lantern movie,
that
what
bad.
A turd fest that was. How could they not know that was terrible?
They had to have.
And they're this whole thing with the new Batman Superman movie, and now they've cast Wonder Woman, and
she's hot.
Well,
see, what they don't understand is Marvel did it right. They did a bunch of smaller. They set the pieces on the table. You did the Hulk movie. You did the Thor movie. You set the cast of characters up. You got the universe right. And then when the Avengers hits, you already have an emotional involvement with the characters. You're already involved with them. You've already gotten involved with Pepper Potts and Iron Man and all those guys. So when the Avengers comes out, you're like, whoa! But right now, they don't have that.
No, they don't.
And the Man of Steel was sickening. The whole reason they called it Man of Steel and changed his costume is so they wouldn't have to pay Joe Shuster's families.
Oh, yeah.
So they wouldn't have to pay the creators' families. That's sick. That's just sick. And So I haven't even seen Man of
That's
Steel.
why they called it Man of Steel.
Yeah,
Really?
that's why they called it
I
Man
didn't
of
know
Steel.
that. I didn't know that.
They changed his costume, so it was no longer the trademark Superman costume. That's why they changed what's the S mean? Oh, well, really, it's a different kind of language. They did all those things so they wouldn't have to pay Joe Shuster's family.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
It's sick.
Wow.
It's disgusting.
Oh, wow.
So DC, they don't know what they're doing, you know? And I'm a guy who's fought with these people. I'm the only comics creator you guys have ever talked to in your lifetime that's beaten Marvel Comics. I beat Marvel Comics in trademark and copyright over my title Dark Angel, and they canceled their title, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, I know about your T-shirts.
Yeah, I don't mess around. I like to take a bully and humiliate him. I like to take a bully and bring him down to my size and shove his face in the mud. That's my favorite thing. And at the time I did the Marvel, can I say, well, Marvel can suck my rooster, but it's really a different word.
Rooster. Nice.
Get it? Like
I
cock-a-lock?
got you.
So, yeah, I did that as a statement about Marvel's business practices, because in the 90s they had business practices designed to drive Image and other independent publishers out of business.
Yeah, see, I'm not real big on corporations. Where I work is a family business. We're the one of the last family-owned businesses in this area for what we do with oil field stuff.
And family-owned businesses and local business is the key cornerstone to American success.
Yeah, and
not corporations.
No, and see, and there's a lot of these big corporations that have moved into this area that are doing a lot of stuff or whatever, and I'm not very nice to them. if you catch my drift.
Right. Well, that's how I feel with my horror channel. You know, you try to watch Chiller, and it's all garbage. It's all just the bottom of the barrel from Universal's library that they just dump on the air. They have no respect for horror fans whatsoever. And then you've got FearNet at Sony, and it's not bad. It's not that bad, but it's corporate horror, and it's what a corporation thinks a horror fan is, and it's the same old Oogie Boogie with the blood splat logo and the skulls and the Oogie. Oh, is Elvira going to be in here next? So it's
Cassandra.
In a way, it's really lame. And American Horrors is the rock and roll. What corporate horror channel is going to have Satanic Sunday?
I guess yours.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And we play some really cool stuff. There's a really cool documentary you play called Unauthorized, all about the guy who did rock and roll comics and was murdered in the 90s. Todd, God, I can't remember his name. And it's fantastic. It's from Wild Eye. We got a lot of movies from Wild Eye. We play a lot of indie stuff, like from a 14-year-old kid, Johnny Dickey. We played his movie on the air. And yeah, I love what we're doing with American Horrors. I really like to get in the face of corporate horror and just poke them and prod them and be like, this is the party, this is the rock and roll, folks, and we're free horror for the people.
Horror for the people.
Yeah, see, that's one thing that they lack around in, I guess, our town. There might be a good horror movie that comes out, but we'd have to drive like 45 minutes to see it. Mm-hmm. We live in a...
Well, it's really the program. We only have one movie theater here. It's got four screens. You know, we can drive 40 miles where there's 11 screens, 18 screens, all that stuff. Most of the time, and it's a Cinemark, so I mean, there you go. There's no corporation. You got somebody that's sitting there, and all they're doing is they program the movies as to what runs the numbers. And right now, what runs the numbers more than anything. Now, every once in a while, they'll run horror films. Mm-hmm. Just a little bit. Most of the time, though, it's all like the nut job and stuff like this. Right. Stuff for kids. Which I've got kids, so guess who's front row Joe every weekend? Lego movie was great though.
I've been hearing everybody's been saying the Lego movie's great. I want to go see the Lego movie.
Oh yeah, I'm planning on going to see it again. Actually,
well, they could have. I'll say this about that Lego movie: it could have just been a big piece of kiddie crap. Mm-hmm. But they can't. The script, the story, everything was. I mean, it's got a whole little message behind it, of course, but it was a good message, and I liked it. So I thought it was cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, very cool. Well, do you guys do like parties, like have like horror parties and stuff, and have a bunch of people over and play crazy films?
Well, what we've been doing is I told you earlier. We've got the Big Spring Film Society. We do outdoor screenings. And the only thing really scary that we've done so far And I don't know how you feel about this, but still one of the most terrifying movies, period, to me is Poltergeist.
Poltergeist is fantastic.
Yeah, and we screened it downtown for a whole bunch of kids, and then I actually screened it again over here at my house for a bunch of little third graders this past October. And just watching them all be just as terrified as I was 25, 30 years ago is great. I love it.
That's the thing about horror is it holds up. If you take some kid, you take a 13-year-old kid out of his Catholic high school today, and you sit him down in front of The Exorcist, he's going to crap his pants. But if you sit him down in front of Animal House, he's going to be like, what tame-ass rerun is this? Because it doesn't age well. I mean, I love Animal House, but it doesn't age well. Horror, if you make it right, it really holds up. Even the old horror films from the 50s and the 40s, you know, you go and you watch the original The Thing from Another World by Howard Hawks. That's a great movie, and you realize how many other horror films ripped it off, right even to Alien.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember back when I started realizing horror movies were not going to be as great as they used to be was back in 1999, I think it was.
Scream?
No, not Scream.
I like Scream.
Scream is fun, actually.
First one was cool.
Yeah.
The first one. I like the first one, especially when the parents come home and there's their daughter. You know, they're on the phone with her while she's getting killed. That's horrible.
Oh, yeah.
That's brutal. That was brutal. Because, you know, Wes Craven, I got to see a special advanced screening of that at the DGA with Wes Craven and Kevin, whatever the writer's name is. Kevin Williamson. And so I got to see that before it was released. And it was a game changer. It really changed that decade of horror film. It really did. And in the 90s really kind of blew for horror. That was one of the highlights of horror. And I don't think horror movies blow anymore. There's so many people making so many kick-ass horror films. Have you guys seen Record from Spain?
Oh, yeah.
I have not seen that.
That's far better than the remake Quarantine. The remake Quarantine's but the original Record film, the first one and the second one, I don't want to go into the twist ending on the air, so if anybody hasn't seen it, you should go see it. Or there's another great Spanish horror film called I'm Not Scared about a young boy finds another boy chained up in a hole in the ground. Pretty awesome. And even the Centipede movies. I mean, we really do live in a wonderful renaissance of horror.
Yeah,
it's just a different level.
The Centipede movies, I will be completely honest with you. The trailer was all I could handle.
Yeah, I believe you.
It gave me the trailer itself gave me nightmares. I was like, I couldn't sit through that whole movie. It'd screw with me the rest of my life.
I keep trying to convince him that it's not as bad as he thinks it is.
No way. Sorry.
What, you got a little problem with fecophilia?
I just gotta.
You're not a fecophile?
No, I don't think so.
Not interested in chowing down on some fecal?
No, not particularly.
Not fresh from the tap? Fecal matter fresh from the tap.
The second one's what he probably thinks the first one is like.
I've heard the second one involves barbed wire, but I won't get into that.
The second one is
it's a family
show. The first
show.
one is more like a straight up mad scientist horror film.
Yeah.
The second Centipede film is much more like a Eraserhead or something like just brutal, like I Spit on Your Grave. They went the opposite way with it, which I didn't enjoy the film. But that's not a film you enjoy. That's a film you endure.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a Serbian film.
Oh, yeah.
Scarred me.
Yeah.
I saw the uncut version of a Serbian film, and I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. That it really got to me because I worked in adult films, and I did work with extreme people in adult. And so watching that film was very different for me because I felt these guys are fans of my work because there's stuff right out of a book we did called Sex Crimes.
Yeah.
There's some imagery out of that. There's some imagery out of some of the adult films I've actually worked on. I did Club Satan with Matt Zane from Society One, and it was on Chris J. Miller's top 10 most horrific things he's ever seen in his life. Or what is it, top 10 most evil things he's seen in his life. And it's the only film I put my real name on.
Well,
in adult world. And it's called Club Satan, and it's not gory, but it gets into your head. It's all about Satan.
Oh, lovely. Well, see, my biggest problem with a lot of these, I like let's say, The Conjuring. What did you think about The Conjuring? What was your thoughts on that?
Loved it.
Okay, so you liked it. You thought
It was a real classic return to Exorcist and the original Amityville Horror.
See, that's the kind of stuff that I like. I love that kind of stuff. Now you get me
It's
into
creepy.
this, yeah, but you get me into this stuff where they're chopping people's toes off and sewing them their butts together. And so sometimes to me, I'm like, that's not scary. That just makes me want to puke. You know, I like
I get
spirits
bored
and
with
stuff.
girls tortured in a basement movies. Those
Right.
bore me.
Right.
I like suspense.
Right.
I want to be on the edge of my
See,
seat.
I
Is
do
she going to
too.
get away?
Yeah.
Is she going to get him?
Right.
What's out there? What's in the dark? I'm really bored with people just put in a chair and turned into meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's boring to me.
Yeah, speaking of being on the edge of your seat, I'm interested to hear what your theory. Did you see Gravity with Sandra Bullock when it came out?
Everybody has raved to me about it.
And you haven't seen it?
I do not want to spend that much time with Sandra Bullock alone in space.
I know
unless
so
we're
many
having
people
sex.
that don't like Sandra Bullock but went and saw the movie and
I
were
like
blown
Sandra
away.
Bullock.
Yeah.
I like her. I just really don't feel the desire to spend that much time in space with her. But sometime, when I'm told that it's best to see it in 3D. So
Yeah, the 3D was amazing.
I'm gonna wait until I get a chance to go see it, because sooner or later I'm gonna. I like to see almost everything. You know, like with American Horrors, I get submissions all the time. So I'm aware of movies that won't be out for a year or 2 years. There's films that I've seen that I wanted to pick up, and because I distribute too. If you guys know people with horror films, have them get a hold of me, because I'm looking for content to put on A, the TV channel, and B, and our channel's uncut, by the way. And also, we're not breaking up our movies with commercials. So you get them uncut and straight through. And we also have like cigarette commercials, you know, like the Flintstones commercial where he's smoking Winston's. He's like, oh, I sure hate to see him work so hard. Let's go around back where we can't see him, okay, Barney? Hilarious stuff like that. Old Budweiser commercials and Hams, the beer refreshing Hams. All that kind of stuff we grew up with, like the Crying Indian, you know, Clean Up America.
Oh yeah, Iron Eyes
We
Cody.
play a lot of stuff like that, and I love it. I just have so much fun finding it and scheduling too, because we do our scheduling differently. Like, I don't know what's going to be on tomorrow. We haven't finished the schedule yet. We schedule the day before it's on a lot of times. So we look at it like we're the DJ of the party, and we're putting on like when what's her name, Karen Black. When Karen Black died, we were able to immediately put on a bunch of her films.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember.
You know what I
Karen.
mean?
Yeah.
So we're
that's cool.
trying to really be responsive, really support women in horror. And they talk all this stuff about women in horror. We're the only horror channel co-owned by a woman, and she does most of the scheduling and programming. I do Satanic Sundays almost every week, but I'm really busy. So unfortunately, I don't get to schedule as much as I'd like. So it's a woman picking out these films and scheduling these films, folks.
What was I going to ask you? I just had a question. Oh, damn it.
So if you got a complaint, send it to Waka.
Brandon had a blank drawing. Okay.
I just totally drew a blank.
Brain fart.
Oh no, I remember. Yeah, I was talking to you about how there's Midland, Odessa is about 40 miles from us to the west of us, and there's a little independent horror movement coming. There's a guy over there named Billy Pond that's made a movie called Doll Boy. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a little short. It's a horror short. Well, look it up. You can look it up on the internet. It's called Doll Boy by Bloody Bill. He calls himself Bloody Bill. And I actually went to the premiere of that short film over in Odessa. He runs a.
Did you like it?
Loved it. And what was awesome
Send
about
him my way.
What was awesome
Send him my
about
way.
it is he made this. He cast all these people in Odessa, Texas, and they're great. You wouldn't think that they were just amateur actors. They're wonderful in the film.
Well, that's the thing, is the revolution that's happened with technology. 20 years ago, when I made Garbage Man in 1993, we had to rent out film cameras. I needed a film crew that understood film. I needed special lights that were specially calibrated for film. You understand?
Yeah, it's all different now.
Everything was so much more thought out, and there had to be more care put into your film. And now, with the electronic, automatic nature of everything and the cheap proliferation of microphones, you could be making reasonable films. You just got to have an eye for casting. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing where independents really screw up, is they're casting their buddies and they're not going, do I really want to spend an hour and a half with this guy on screen?
That's what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. Is I produced a movie by a guy, and the guy who directed it and wrote it, he cast all of his buddies. They were all they were all stage actors, and so as you can imagine, they'd never been in front of a camera. So you can kind of imagine what came out. And,
yeah, I can actually, because when I directed Garbage Man, I'd never really directed before, and now I've got years and years of directing under my belt. Like I've directed just alone for American Horrors. I've directed 13 episodes of the American Horror TV show. I've directed music videos for Obituary, The Cock Diesel, and I did a music video for Dark Funeral. I edited a music video for Danzig on a Wicked Night. I cut some of Doyle's videos for Gorgeous Frankenstein. I cut Glenn's first short horror film, She Only Likes Men, and I've got a lot of experience under my belt now with directing and editing and producing and dealing with actors and also performing myself, because I've been doing a lot more acting. Yeah. So now when I go to direct, I move fast. I know what I need because I've been in the editing room so many times. I've cut like 100 films. When I worked in adult, I was cutting, there was a time where I was cutting 4 adult films a week.
Yeah. So
and I'm fast in the editing room. I'm really good, really fast. Our company was called Crime Pays Inc. and we were some of the best editors in adult and independent horror. And so now I've taken that team, and they're all on the American Horrors programming.
Cool.
Like True Crimes and the American Horrors Intermission. We're interviewing the creator of Dr. Phibes, William Goldstein. We're interviewing Mark Brooks from Metalocalypse, and who's done a lot of work with Slayer. And Slayer's coming to American Horrors. We're going to be playing some Slayer videos.
Slayer.
Nice.
I miss Slayer.
Yeah. I'm all about the editing stuff. I do a lot of that. I have a website where we do videos and things, and we most of it's like humorous stuff and parodies, things like that. And it's become like
people think when you've got a horror channel, they think it's all oogie boogie, and actually there's plenty of funny stuff on there. Because what I like to do is I like to break it up. So in between the really disturbed film, I'll between I Spit on Your Grave and Make Them Die Slowly or something like that, I want people to laugh and give them a break. So all of our inter-programming is all kind of fun and funny.
Yeah.
I got a question. What would you tell somebody who, like, let's say there's a kid, like, say in high school, and he's thinking he wants to get into comics or filmmaking or any of the stuff that you're interested in? What kind of advice would you give out for somebody wanting to get started in any of this kind of stuff?
Well, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Don't avoid excuses. Avoid toxic people. Be very careful of who you associate yourself with, because people will sabotage your movie. They will sabotage your project. It's a lot harder to sabotage a comic book. You've got a lot more control over it, especially if you're the guy drawing it and writing it. If you're a filmmaker or you want to be a filmmaker, I highly, highly recommend, 1, make music videos. 2, make short horror films, because practice is how you get better. This is the thing that I have a real bone to pick with modern American filmmakers. I've made more movies than these guys. I've cut more movies than these guys. I would have customers come in to my editing company, and I'd already cut 50 films, and this guy'd never cut nothing. He didn't know crap from Shinola. He just didn't know nothing. And that's the thing. You got to get off your butt. These editing programs are pretty easy to figure out. Get off your butt and do it. Make a short, get some people, play with things. You'll figure it out. You got to get out there and do it. You're not going to be able to figure it out just from watching other people do it. And try to keep your budgets as low as possible. Keep your money tight, so that way you might be able to make a profit, because it's very difficult to make a profit in films. The distribution setup is very brutal for the independent filmmaker. And develop intestinal fortitude. If somebody does some constructive criticism of your film or your short, don't just, man, how could you say that? You're not my friend. How could you do that? Grow up, man. Grow up. Because I come from a martial arts background. And if I said that to Gene LaBelle, Gene, I don't know about that choke. I don't know about that. You do what Gene tells you to do. And if he tells you you're doing it wrong, you listen to him, because you might hurt yourself or hurt your partner or not do it right and get beat up in a fight. So that's the way I view a lot of constructive criticism. You got to be real about it, so you know how to get better. That's the whole goal, is you want to get better every movie, every short, and have some fun with it. Have fun.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's a big thing, having fun. And a lot of it, like you said, is now there's no excuse for not being able to make any. I mean, the technology now, you can go out, shoot something, edit it, and boom, you're on the internet. You got worldwide distribution. I mean, it's wild. It's wild what it's like now.
Focus on the writing. That's important. Like, try to write something that's good. Read your dialogue out loud. That's an important one. A lot of writers don't do that. Read it out loud. I can remember when I was a terrible writer for a while. When I was in high school, I'd read my dialogue. It sounded like Thor was talking. What the hell? Verily 'tis so. And I was like, what am I doing? And I just kept writing bad story after bad story after bad story, and I got better. Same with drawing comic books. I've been drawing comics since I was 5 years old. And so I drew like every other kid terribly, and you just get better. And you get better from practice. Practice makes perfect. And you got to put in the work. You got to do it. And this idea of instant stardom is ridiculous. Forget instant stardom. You should be more focused on making something good, because that's what's going to be left behind. Not your interview, not what you said to TMZ, not any of that crap. When you're not there anymore, the film will have to speak for itself.
So you're saying that the Kardashians aren't going to live forever and
I don't even pay attention to them. I don't have children, so I don't have to deal with that crap. I don't pay attention to that part of the culture. And frankly, I get shocked when I see it. The nonstop castration of the modern American male is kind of staggering. It's just nonstop what you see on daytime TV of them just beating guys down, just beating them down, beating them down, beating them down. Can't get it right. Can't do nothing right. Well, screw all what you see on TV. Get off your ass, get in the real world, and get dirty. Wrestle around a bit, fall down, dare to fail. Go fail a few times, but you're going to get back up and do it again. That's the only way you're going to get better. It's the only way you're going to succeed.
Oh, yeah.
That was good.
Sorry, I get on my soapbox.
No, I liked your soapbox, man. That was awesome. Well, hey, we're going to try to start wrapping things up here on this interview, man. Kind of tell us where, give us the plugs on American Horrors and the other stuff real quick.
Yeah, you guys can find me online. Of course, I'm on Facebook, Hart Fisher. And then you can find me, our Heart Attack Radio. It's facebook.com/Heart Attack Radio. I am on Twitter. I don't tweet as much as everybody else, but I do. So I Twitter a little bit. I'm on there as Hart_Fisher. If you want to find out what's playing on the channel, we're at Horror TV Guide. And American Horrors is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can find it at filmon.com. That's FILMON.com. And like one of your co-hosts said, you can download the app and be watching on your iPad, your iPhone, your Android, any of your smart devices you could watch. And we're free. We're free. And we playing the good stuff. Like I'm getting ready to do like a whole bunch of bad, cheesy Bigfoot movie day, and we're trying to have fun and program different stuff. Something you guys should really look for is Cameron Mitchell in The Nightmare Never Dies. That's a really cool one that we're playing and very hard to find.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Well, Hart, I want to thank you for coming and talking to us. I mean, like I said, you're out there in Hollywood doing all the stuff out there. We're just kind of hanging out here in West Texas, and
if it doesn't matter where you're at, if you can get a camera from Best Buy for $350. You're all set, man. All you need is some microphones and some cameras, and that's it. You can run and gun.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff, man. But anyway,
get a hold of me. If anybody's got a horror film, hook me up. I'm looking for stuff to put on the air. I love independence, and I love discovering new talent.
Yeah, I'm going to whenever I get back to my computer or whatever, I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I will send to you.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah, we got some projects that we've been talking about doing also. Like I said, I do a lot of the video stuff here with us, and I've been trying to talk Brandon into doing some little things, so if we ever get that stuff done, I'll let you know.
Cool, because this is my dream. I mean, I'm not kidding when I tell you guys, I love this. This is the best to me. I get all kinds of cool. I had some Irish guys send me some cool Irish short horror films that we're going to air. I got some stuff from England we're going to air. The Canadians are kicking serious butt. They are making some great horror films up there.
Have you ever seen any of the horror stuff that's Ain't It Cool News posts a little shorts deal about once a week, every couple of weeks, and there's been some great horror stuff in there that I've seen here and there.
I haven't seen any of this stuff on Ain't It Cool News. I don't really do the web thing because since I work on a computer all the time.
Yeah, you don't want to look at one when you're off, right?
No, when I'm done with work, I want to throw my computer out the window.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so if you guys see something, let me know about it. Yeah, hit me up.
Cool. All right, well, Hart, I really want to thank you for spending some time with us doing this interview, man. It's been great.
It's been my pleasure, guys. If you want me back, I'll be there.
We'll try to have things more situated next time.
All right, we're going to wrap this thing up. Hart, have a good night, man. We appreciate you talking to us, and we'll be in touch.
Oh, yeah. You guys have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Hart.